And Learning to Love Myself is exactly the story of Viga Boland. Welcome back to Morning Live. Your last visit actually was for this book.
That's correct.
No Tears for My Father,
Yes,
which
right.
You wrote about years of abuse by your biological father.
Right. And it was actually put out, or I wrote it and published it about 1 year to the day almost before the second book came out. Yes.
Now, the first book, give us a quick synopsis here for those who are familiar with your story.
All right. Over the years of 11 to about 24, I was physically, mentally, and sexually abused by my father, my biological father. But I kept it quiet because I couldn't talk about it. It's the kind of thing you don't tell anyone, and I didn't, including my husband. By the time I eventually got away from my father, married, and had my children and everything else, my husband still was not aware that this had ever happened to me. And I didn't tell anyone until I was about 65, about 3 years ago. And it came out over dinner one night, and my husband sat there in shock like, whoa, you're kidding, this really happened. I knew this man, I had dinner with him. Yes, that's true, that's exactly right. And of course, my children at the time were utterly supportive, and my husband, which was wonderful because I was afraid of, the reason I kept quiet all those years is
40 years.
you just can't talk about it. I don't know whether you think that your husband's going to up and leave you or whatever, and people will hate you and they'll have all kinds of questions or whatever, so you keep quiet. It's easier to keep quiet and just keep going on than to tell someone, almost. But when I did, it was the best thing I could have done. It was the utter moment of therapy, of healing and everything else, especially to get that support from my husband and my children. And they said, write about it, Mom, there are so many thousands out there like you, write the story. So I wrote No Tears.
And when the book came out, the response from people who've experienced the same thing was overwhelming.
It was tremendous. I have had letters coming in from abuse victims all over the place who are saying, thank you for writing this book. I needed to read it. I needed to know I wasn't alone, that I'm not the only one, And, it's just been an incredibly wonderful thing that's happened over the past year to get this response.
So the first book was prompted by family, but this is very much prompted by readers of the first book, Learning to Love Myself.
That's right.
Because they want to know, after that shockwave revelation,
that's right,
the years after, and how your husband dealt with it, because it's very much a story of, it's a love story.
It's a love story, and that's pretty well how I build it, because people will say to you, how did you heal? Did you go to therapy? What did you do? And I didn't do any of that because nobody knew anything about it. But the therapy was a very slow, gradual process of finally being loved for myself, unconditionally, being given the freedom to be who I was. I had a husband who said, do whatever you like. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And that was like almost a shock to me, because my father had ruled every decision that I'd ever made. And it was wonderful. So I went out and did my thing. And that is what I do through the book. You'll see me moving from level to level to level, where I finally get to where I am today, feeling good about myself, loving myself, which is what an abuse victim needs to be able to do, because we hate ourselves. And now it's all this repair that has to go on till we can finally say, yes, I like who I am. I'm proud of who I am. And that's what that book is about.
And that's what makes this book equally important.
Yes, it is. It's a very important book. And also, I really wanted to show that the effects of something like what I went through as a child don't end when you get away from your abuser. They go on for years and years. You never forget it. Even if you try to put it down, you can't forget it, and it contaminates to a certain degree your entire life. We did, in effect, reunite with my father for my mother's sake, because I wanted my mother to experience my children and have that pleasure of her grandchildren. But my husband never realized why my father hated him so much, and he was forever being victimized by my father. And he didn't know why. Why does this man hate me like this? That comes out in the book. And there are times that you can see my husband say, I'm done. I want a normal relationship with a father-in-law. Why can't I have one? Right. That's what comes through.
And so this is an important book for people that are within this circle of this kind of abuse.
Yes, that's right. So they realize it's not just the victims, but their own family and the children. I mean, my children were scared of my father. And now, in hindsight, I look at it and I think, thank heaven I never left them alone with him, because I saw indications. Even my older daughter has said to me, that Grandpa did this or that. And I went, oh my God, if I had left you alone, who knows? Yeah. So that's scary.
Yeah, and again, there's so many stories out there, so that's why this has resonated so much. So you've got a launch tonight.
Yep. at Turner Park Library at 7 o'clock, and I'm hoping people will come out.
Well, we're going to send some
One
morning live viewers your way.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll connect your website as well, chch.com, but there it is.
And the other thing I wanted to mention, which is really nice, I've been thrilled that I got a gold medal for this book. That was quite a surprise to me. And it is currently available in 7 Ontario libraries. The libraries have been very supportive, so this has been utterly rewarding for me.
Amazing success
Yes.
and amazing healing too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Thank you. It's
congratulations
been great.
on that.
And thank you for having me back, Bob. I really appreciate it. It's
Absolutely.
super.
Great to see you again and see Viga tonight at the Turner Park. And
You got it. You got it. Come on out.
All right. Quick break. We're going to come back with the news at 9:30 and last half hour morning live.